and in General Assembly Hall, except when directly addressing the meeting. The size of a delegation should not exceed 4 delegates in the General Assembly Hall. We shall now continue the general debate. The Assembly will hear an address by His Excellency Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of the Republic of India. May I request protocol to escort His Excellency. I have great pleasure in welcoming His Excellency Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of the Republic of India. I invite him to address the General Assembly.
Namaskar, साथियों.
Good morning, friends. His Excellency Mr. Abdullah Shahid. First of all, I would like to warmly congratulate you on assuming the office of President of the UNGA. Your becoming president is a matter of pride for all developing countries, and in particular for small island developing states. Mr. President, for the last 1.5 years, the world has been grappling with the worst pandemic it has seen in 100 years. I pay tribute to all those who have lost their lives in the deadly corona pandemic, and I express my condolences to their families. Mr. President, I represent a country that is proud to be known as the mother of democracy. We have had a great tradition of democracy that goes back thousands of years. On 15th of August this year, India entered the 75th year of its independence. Our diversity is the identity of our strong democracy. It is a country that has dozens of languages, hundreds of dialects, different lifestyles and cuisines. This is the best example of a vibrant democracy. The strength of our democracy is demonstrated by the fact that a little boy who at one time used to help his father at his tea stall at the railway station is today addressing the United Nations General Assembly for the 4th time as Prime Minister of India. I will soon have spent 20 years serving my countrymen as head of government, first as the longest-serving Chief Minister of Gujarat, and then as Prime Minister for the last 7 years. And I am saying this to you from my own experience. Yes, democracy can deliver. Yes, democracy has delivered. Mr. President, today is the birth anniversary of Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay, the proponent of Ekatma Manav Darshan. Ekatma Manav Darshan means integral humanism, or the development journey undertaken together, the expansion from the self to the universe, expansion of the self, moving from the individual to society, to the nation, and to entire humanity. And this philosophy is dedicated to Antyodaya. The modern day definition of Antyodaya is where no one is left behind. It is with this principle in mind that India today is moving forward on the path of integrated, equitable development. Our priority is that development should be all-inclusive, all-pervasive, universal, and one that nurtures all. During the last 7 years, India has brought over 430 million people who were previously unbanked into the banking system. Today, over 360 million people who earlier could not even imagine this was possible now have insurance coverage as security. By giving over 500 million people the facility of free treatment in hospitals, India has given them access to quality health services. By building 30 million proper homes, India has made homeless families homeowners. Mr. President, polluted water is a very big problem, not just for India, but for the entire world, and in particular for poor and developing countries. In order to address this challenge in India, we are carrying out a very big campaign to ensure that piped clean water reaches over 170 million homes. Reputed institutions of the world have said that for the development of any country, people must have property rights to their home and land. That is, ownership records are a must. In the most developed countries, there are a large number of people who do not have property rights to their land and homes. Today, we are using drones in India to map over 600,000 villages. And by doing so, we are giving people there digital records of their homes and land. These digital records not only reduce property disputes, but will also give people increased access to credit and bank loans. Mr. President, today, every sixth person in the world is Indian. When Indians make progress, it also gives an impetus to the development of the world. When India grows, the world grows. When India reforms, the world transforms. The science and technology-based innovations taking place in India can make a big contribution to the world. The scalability of our tech solutions and their cost-effectiveness are both unparalleled. Over 3.5 billion transactions are taking place every month in India through our Unified Payment Interface, UPI. India's vaccine delivery platform, CoWIN, offers digital support to register the administration of millions of vaccine doses in a single day. Mr. President, the India that puts into practice the principle of Seva Parmo Dharma, which means service is the highest religion, is today putting all efforts into vaccine development and manufacturing despite its limited resources. I would like to inform the UNGA that India has developed the world's first DNA vaccine. And this vaccine can be administered to anyone above the age of 12. Another vaccine, an mRNA vaccine, is in the final stages of development. Indian scientists are also working on the development of a nasal vaccine for the coronavirus. Deeply conscious of its responsibility towards mankind, India has resumed the process of providing vaccines to those who need it in the world. Today, I also extend an invitation to vaccine manufacturers from across the world. Come, make vaccine in India.
अध्यक्ष महोदय,
Mr. President, all of us are well aware how important technology is in the lives of people today. However, in this ever-changing world, it is equally important to ensure technology with democratic values. No matter which country the doctors, innovators, engineers, and managers of Indian origin live in, our democratic values inspire them to continue serving mankind. And this is a spirit that we have indeed seen during the corona pandemic also. Mr. President, the corona pandemic has also taught another important lesson to the world, that the global economy needs to be diversified even further. And for this, expansion of global value chains is necessary. Our Atmanirbhar Bharat, or self-reliant India movement, is inspired by this very spirit. India is becoming a democratic and reliable partner for global industrial diversification. And in this movement, India has struck a better balance between both economy and ecology. I'm sure that you all also feel proud of the efforts made by India with regard to climate change compared to those made by big and developed nations. Today, India is moving forward with great speed towards its target of 450 gigawatts of renewable energy. We have also started work on making India the world's largest green hydrogen hub. Mr. President, we are answerable to our future generations. When they ask, when it was time to take decisions, what were those people doing? Those people whose responsibility it was to give direction to the world. Today, the world is facing an increased threat of regressive thinking and extremism. In such a situation, the entire world must make science-based, rational, and progressive thinking the basis for development. In order to strengthen a science-based approach, India is promoting experience-based learning. In India, in schools, thousands of Atal tinkering labs have been set up. We have also set up incubators, and a strong startup ecosystem has been developed. On the occasion of the 75th year of its independence, when we are celebrating the Azadi Ka Amrit Festival, India is going to launch 75 satellites into space that are being made by Indian students in schools and colleges. Mr. President, on the other hand, countries with regressive thinking that are using terrorism as a political tool, these countries must understand that terrorism is an equally big threat for them also. It is absolutely essential to ensure that Afghanistan's territory is not used to spread terrorism and for terrorist attacks. We also need to be alert and ensure that no country tries to take advantage of the delicate situation there and use it as a tool for its own selfish interests. At this time, the people of Afghanistan, the women and children of Afghanistan, the minorities of Afghanistan need help. And we must fulfill our duty by providing them with this help. Mr. President, our oceans are also our shared heritage, and that is why we must keep in mind that we must only use ocean resources and not abuse them. Further, our oceans are also the lifeline of international trade. We must protect them from the race for expansion and exclusion. The international community must speak in one voice to strengthen a rule-based world order. The broad consensus reached in the Security Council during India's presidency shows to the world the way forward for maritime security. Mr. President, the great diplomat of India, Acharya Chanakya, said this hundreds of years ago: Kalati kramat, kal eva phalam pivati. When the right action is not taken at the right time, then it is time itself that causes the action to fail. If the United Nations wants to remain relevant, it will need to improve its effectiveness and enhance its reliability. Today, all kinds of questions are being raised about the UN. We have seen such questions being raised related to the climate crisis, and we also saw them during COVID. The proxy war going on in many parts of the world, terrorism, and the recent Afghan crisis have further highlighted the seriousness of these questions. With regard to the origin of COVID or regarding the ease of doing business rankings, institutions of global governance have damaged the credibility they had built, which was a result of decades of hard work. It is essential that we constantly strengthen the UN in order to safeguard global order, global laws, and global values. I would like to end my address with the words of the Nobel laureate Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore. Shubho Kormopothe, Shubho Kormopothe, Dhoro Nirbhayogan, Shob Durbol Shonyosh Hok Abushan, which means boldly proceed on your path of good deeds. May you overcome all weaknesses and doubts. In the context of the current times, this message is as relevant to every responsible nation as it is to the United Nations. I'm confident that our efforts will enhance peace and harmony in the world and will make the world healthy, safe, and prosperous. With these good wishes, I thank you all. Namaskar.
On behalf of the General Assembly, I wish to thank